Good.
All right. All right. We're gonna try to make it do what it do right now. All right. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Today we got another special episode. And just a few minutes ago, when I was thinking about it, actually, you two brothers actually have probably had the biggest impact on my trucking career in the last 12 months than anybody else I know. And I'll tell you how in a little bit. But today we're gonna be talking about trucking, an industry that a lot of people know about. Mostly everybody knows a trucker or is dated a trucker or related to a trucker. But a lot of times people don't know the ins and outs. Some people don't even know how to get started in the trucking game. So today I got two of my good trucking friends, my buddies, schoolmates, classmates on with me today. And we're gonna kick a little game about trucking. So I'm gonna let you all introduce yourself. Carl, go ahead. Tell them who you are, where you're from, and who you drive for, or if you want to tell who you drive for, you don't have to. Or how long? No, tell how long you've been in trucking. Tell how long you've been in trucking.
I've been in trucking 4 years. This
Okay,
year make 4 years. I'm from Southampton. My name called Gary Jr. I'm from Southampton County, Jewelville. I live in Emporia. I moved to Emporia when I was younger, about 8, 9 years old. So Emporia is where I'm from. Like I said, I've been in trucking 4 years. I don't want to do nothing else. No warehouse, not knocking anybody else what they do, but a warehouse job is not gonna cut it for me. I can't do it. Nobody stand over my back. I got freedom out here on the road.
Right. All right, Mr. Allen, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what you do, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Antoine Allen. I'm from Emporia. I drive for myself. I got my own authority, so I run completely for myself. I started driving in 06. I started officially driving in 06. I had two buddies of mine that they taught me how to drive. So I started messing with them in 2000.
So. Okay. So let's jump right into it. So what made you want to get into trucking? Out of everything else, back then you still had a few of the factories open. You had Purdue. I think the foundry might have still been open. You got the prison, boys here, stuff like that. What made you say, no, I want trucking? Antoine.
I've always wanted to get into trucking. If you know me, I've always liked big machines. I worked on the farm. The bigger the machine, if I saw a big machine, I wanted to run it. I'm at a point now where you can put me in anything and I can operate it. I also work for the fire department as well. So once I start running, I guess I got that bug when my buddy of mine let me ride with him. And once I start riding with him, I was hooked. I'm like, let's do it. And then, like I said, eventually I want to get. I end up getting my own truck because I know how I want to work. And a couple of companies I worked for, they didn't want to work the way I wanted to work. So I was like, I need to get my own truck. As me and you talk all the time, I'm still working at the fire department. Because of how my schedule works, I can run my truck the way I want it and still make money, still enjoy time. And actually next year, most likely I'll be retiring from the fire department, so I'll be jumping this 100%. And now that I've been running as long as I've been running, I'm completely set up to where an hour got everybody I can run for, who I want to run for. So.
Right. Okay. We're gonna get back to it. Carl, tell them what made you want to get into these big rigs?
I was working at a Bell Nursery and I started driving what they call box trucks, the big piston trucks. And just to be able to travel to different places I haven't been to, it gave me the feel for the road. And then one day I said, well, I'm going to go try to get my CDL. Took the test at DMV for my learners, passed all that, and just kept going from there.
Okay.
I developed a love for driving.
So let's pivot from there because you and I actually went to the same trucking school. We like a week apart in trucking. I think you finished the week before I started.
Before you started.
You was in the class right before I started.
Before your class.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so let's tell, because some people don't even know how to get into trucking nowadays. Each one of you tell like how you got into trucking, like school, like tell the process. Carl, tell where you went to and everything like that. You say you got your learners, and then what did you do after that?
After I got my learners, I started looking for schools. I ended up applying for Shepherd's Choice up there in Chester, Virginia. It was a small deposit in the beginning, and throughout the course of the 4-week class, you pay off the rest of the class, and then that's how I got started with that. You know, you get the in the class time and you get on the road time. Try to get as much in the road time as you can. Go out there, mess with them trucks all day, every day. Learn that pre-trip and get those miles in, get those hours in, so you can really familiar yourself with it. And then when you get out there on your own, you can handle
it. Yep. Okay, Antoine, you've been in it a little bit longer, so was the process any different over 10 years ago when you got into it?
So when I got into it, a buddy of mine taught me how to drive. I had 2 different buddies. One was teaching me, and I ended up getting into the fire academy. So I ended up going to the fire academy for 20 weeks. I came back, and that buddy had actually got out of trucking. So I had another friend that I ended up running with him, and he taught me. He pretty much picked up where the other guy left off, and that's how I got my CDL. But right now, the way things are changing, that's going away where you got to go to a truck driving school.
So you didn't. So let me jump in. So you didn't have to go to an official school back then.
Nope.
You didn't have to get your learner's permit or nothing. You were able to just.
I had to get my learners. I take it back. I did have to get my learners. You have to get the learners.
Was it that far back where? Was it that far back where it was called a chauffeur's license? It wasn't that far back, was it? Yeah.
No, that's my buddy. That's how he got his. He got a chauffeur's license in Grand Park, which was 40 years ago.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So to give everybody a heads up right now, the way truck driving, the way schools are changing, is either the end of this year or next year. You have to go to a truck driving school. There is no way around that now.
Okay.
So just FYI, if anybody trying to do it the way I did it, where you have somebody teach you, you'll get to learn from it. Somebody teach you, then you take the road test. Yeah, that's going to go away.
Yeah, because I've had a few people like, can you take me out on the road? I want to learn how to drive trucks. And I tell them, like, you still gonna have to go to school. Like, you can ride, but I can't let you drive nothing. Like, so if you want to take a trip, cool, but you still got to go to school.
And the way the test has changed, the parallel parking and all that, I'm like, I would recommend everybody just go to truck driving school now.
Parallel parking.
Because yes.
Hey, check it out.
We got guys on the search and rescue team that we were working with.
Check it out.
Good.
When I was learning parallel parking, right? I at the time I was like, man, I ain't gonna never use this.
Yeah.
But until I needed to use it. Then I was like, I'm glad I learned it, because ain't no way you're gonna be able to park that truck unless you ain't gonna park that truck unless you've been shown some type of way how to do it. There's no way to do it. You can't just jump in that truck and do that.
And see, some of the guys we talk about that, they'll say, like, well, you never parallel park. I'm like, oh, you go to some of these rest areas, and I can name 3 of them on 81. There's parallel parking all day long. There ain't no way around it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, look, okay. So did both of you all start off, well, you were working at Bell, so that's kind of as a company driver. Antoine, did you start off as a company driver as well?
Yeah, I started with the company of, they were gassing at the time. So the first buddy of mine, he actually was driving. He was leased on this company, so I knew everybody there. So once I got my CDL, I went back to them, and he was like, because I had tried a couple of different companies, and the problem is that insurance.
I'm gonna jump the call real quick if you still talking, Antoine, because we can't hear you.
All right,
tell about
you had froze
because
up
you
again.
started.
I didn't hear you.
Okay. We're going to jump to you. You started with Bell, but then you did go to a company, or how did your process work?
Yeah, I started with Bell because I already had, worked there a few years prior to that. And then Bell ended up closing down. They shut the whole thing down. They shut the whole operation in Emporia down. And then I needed somewhere else to go. And I went to V&D Trucking right there on 301 North, like you're going towards Jared.
Yeah,
they gave me a chance because I only had like 6 months experience at that time, but they gave me a chance and I started running road. And that's when I started learning the trucking game. Because there's some people out here that will tell you some things to help you in the long run. And that's how I started learning the game. Just by meet different people, talking to different people, learning what I'm supposed to get paid for and what not to get paid for. And just kept applying it to what I was doing till I got a full understanding of it.
Okay, so check it out. How long did it take you to really understand the game? Because you come in and people start telling you stuff, but sometimes it still don't be what you really need to know. How long did it take you? Because I know where we at now, what we understand now, but how long did it take you to get to that point? When you was able to decipher between
about a year.
Okay.
About a year.
Okay.
I say about a year, maybe a year and a half. But that's how long I stuck with that company. And like I said, that's why I started learning different tricks of the trade and trying to apply them to myself to figure out how can I use them and make them work for me. And then I moved on. I was doing flatbed at the time, doing with that company. So then I moved to the drive-in side. Okay. With the drive-in. Worked with them. I stayed with them people for probably about another year and a half. And then I came over to where I'm at now with play hardball.
Okay, so you've been with them about 2 years, almost 2 years with play hardball?
Almost 2 years. I started out with them. We was doing containers out of the port in Tidewater, Virginia. Pulling containers, running containers from here to Dayton, Ohio, Swanee, Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, different places. See, like
I thought y'all was just running. I thought y'all was just running like VA, North Carolina, and whatever. I didn't know y'all was running all the way out there.
We was running out west because that's what paying the money, but you still had the deadhead back. So yeah, that's how the container thing works. Unless you got somebody that know how to find the load, so you can bring the load back to the port. But when we was at, they weren't doing that. We go out and come back, grab another one, and go again.
And you were still having to cover the fuel then? You were still having to cover the fuel when you was deadheading back? And I was saying you were still having to cover the fuel when you was deadheading back?
Yeah, same setup, just different. Just a different same setup like it is now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's some of the biggest advantages you see from being on more so the owner operator side than the company side?
Freedom. You make the money. Nobody is in control of your money. You control your own money, and you can take off when you want to take off. You don't have to take a load because they give it to you. It's a lot better on the owner operator type of side or independent contractor side.
And let's go on and give it to them. You don't have to be specific about your numbers, but let's tell them like what type of money you really can make out here in trucking. Like, okay, is it too far-fetched to think that a trucker can make $10,000 a month out here in trucking?
Come back again. That froze up.
I say let's give them the game, and let's, without specifically telling them your numbers. Mm-hmm. Is it too far-fetched to think that a trucker can make $10,000 a month out here?
Is it too far-fetched? No, sir.
Right.
A trucker, a hard running trucker, he don't have to leave the state of Virginia. He can make $11,000 a week, and don't even have to leave the state of Virginia just because he connected with the right connection. And he's somewhat on his own truck.
Right. Mm-hmm. Especially if you own it out free and clear. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. You got to make no payments in that.
Sorry about that.
You're back in. No, you good.
Yeah, sorry, but it was a technical difficulty on our end.
No, it's all good. I figured you'd come back in when you could. Okay, what was we at with it? I forgot where we stopped off at, man. We was talking about how you got into
right.
Yeah.
You remember what we was at?
How I got into it.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, so like I said, I started with the guy that I was riding with that was originally teaching me. He was leased onto a company. So when I got my CEL, I tried a couple different companies because of my experience. Because as you know, most companies, if you ain't got no experience, a lot of companies don't want to mess with you. Right. And me and him got to talking. He was like, "Well, you know what? I know you. You've been working with a buddy of mine, and the guy I was riding was Dexter. He said, we've been knowing you since you messed with Dexter. So let me talk to my insurance company." And the insurance company was fine with it, and that's how I got started. And went from there. So, and loved it ever since, like I said.
Okay, question. Did y'all come in making cent per mile? And
if so, percentage.
So you started off on percentage.
25%.
Okay, but let's jump to Carl. How much did you start off with, Carl? What was your cent per
mile? My cent per mile was 42 north and 45 south.
Man, that's almost
pennies.
Go ahead.
It's pennies, man, because you got to make the miles for one, and then you got them dispatching you. But they know where you're going 2 or 3 days prior because they send you places like Alabama, New Jersey, and they won't have your load ready. You got to sit for 2 or 3 days. If your wheels ain't turning, you ain't earning.
Yep.
I come home. I stay gone home for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and come home with a $500 check at the end of the week.
Bruh. Hey, look, I started out with the company I started with. I started at, it was 31 cents, but with the per diem, it was like 29 cents a mile, man.
Mm-hmm.
Running refrigerated reefer units all down through Arkansas. And on the account, I was on the Tyson account. I had to stay out of money. I could only go home one weekend a month, man.
Yep.
That would, and like you say, get a $500 check.
And that's the difference between. That's the difference. Oh, sorry. That's the difference between a company driver and an owner operator. What you just said. What we were just talking about. You pay. Having to stay out. That's the big difference.
Yeah, and I listen to guys now talk about that. You know, some companies, depends on if they put you on a dedicated contract, you could be gone for a month, like you're saying, or a couple of weeks. And okay, you're gone for a month. Yeah, you get 1 week home and you get back on the road for a month.
Yep.
So
now, granted, you get a lot of experience. You learn a lot about yourself when you just up and have to be away from home by yourself. Just weeks at a time. You learn a lot of, at least in my opinion, you learn a lot about yourself because that's real. You by yourself out there.
By yourself. Yes. All you got time to think.
Yeah.
Time to think.
Yeah. For real. So you get to know you a whole lot. And I'm thankful for it. Okay. I had asked Carl, Antoine, is it too far-fetched because without telling your specific numbers?
Okay.
But a lot of people don't really know. They think, truckers make money, but they don't really know like how much the possibilities. Is it too far-fetched to think that a trucker can make $10,000 a month out here in trucking?
No.
Okay.
That's especially right now with the way the rates are right now. Yeah, you can do that.
Good. The rates look good.
Man, that's why
look good, man.
I'm running this road. I promise you. I'm gonna run till the wheels fall off this summer. I promise you, baby.
Right.
I'm gonna be out there in the truck sweating and everything. I'm gonna be running, baby.
The rates look real good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Antoine. What'd you say?
That's like you talked about before. Just now, the market. I mean, you talk about a lot. I look at the market a lot. From now to then, eventually it's going to reset, and be prepared for the reset. So if you can make the money now, make the money and put it away because the market is going to reset.
Yeah.
But now, I'm gonna tell you right now that some of the prices I've seen is insane.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen it. You hadn't seen it in 5 years.
I'm seeing $10 a mile for some stuff, man.
$10 a mile?
Yeah. Short hops. Richmond to like Gordonsville.
Yep.
Man, I run them all day. Good gracious. Yeah, but even like you say, even now when I'm calculating some of them, they way over $3 a mile. I'm like, yo.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is great, and I ain't even got to drive, but a quick maybe 300 miles, maybe.
I get to the point. Sometimes if the lowest I go is probably about 274. Depends on what I got to do with it. But if it ain't paying $3 a mile, I won't.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So, Carl, what's some of the drawbacks of being on the owner operator side? Because company, the money low, but they kind of take care of everything else. What's the drawback of?
From what I've seen, is maintenance and upkeep on the truck, and all the back office stuff you got to do as far as your paperwork go and keeping all your paperwork straight. It's just me trying to keep my little stuff straight for my taxes is a headache. So I can imagine actually owning the truck and doing all the back office stuff for owning the truck. 2290s and IFTAs and all that.
Yes, sir.
Now,
I do all.
because I know you've been in business. You've been actually owning a couple of trucks for a while now, so
Right.
You get to see it from even a little higher than where we see it. So, what's some of the drawbacks that you get as far as the business go?
Maintenance, insurance, and here's the thing: if you're set up for it and understanding the difference in insurance, the biggest thing, like when you talked about before, the biggest thing that gets most people out of business is insurance, maintenance, and what you're talking about the back office. That's the main three things that will put people out of business. It's. I mean, I can tell you stories on. There are days because like I said, I own my own truck. I got one truck, 2 trailers. I had a buddy of mine leased onto me, and there were days where it was hard. Up until because right now all my equipment's paid off. Truck and both of my trailers are paid off. I'm actually renting out one of my trailers. Actually, I'm going to rent out one for sure, and I got a second one I'm going to rent out to another friend because they need it for something else because I'm doing power only stuff. But biggest thing, like I said, there were times where, and my wife could tell you, there were times I want to come home and cry because when you start looking at a $5,000 maintenance bill, you just got this truck out of the shop, you just dump $5,000, it goes back in the shop the next week, and you just go ahead and dump another $3,000. So it's money, but if you're making the money and you set that money aside, it won't be a problem. Under this, I would say that's the biggest thing. Those are the main 2 things: is maintenance, insurance, and the back office. And the biggest thing with the back office is a lot of people don't understand the stuff you need. Yeah, you may be like me. I'm the owner of my truck. I'm the only driver I got. But there are certain things I still have to do. If I get a speeding ticket, I still have to write myself up or write up a document saying I talked to myself and have it documented. Because, and it's crazy, because we have this conversation. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Because what happens is, let's say you get into an accident, and DOT comes in and check. You have nothing done, and you've been in business, let's say 3 years. Okay, so you have nothing done. So you have no documentation on anything. So then they say, oh, this is just an habitual thing, and they can actually fine you for that because you don't have documentation in place. Oh yeah. A maintenance plan. If you don't have anything documented as a maintenance plan and you get audited, they're going to hit you on that. And another thing too is, let's say you don't have anything in place and you get the phone call, they're going to audit you next week. And now you start putting this stuff in place. If you don't pay attention to when you date this stuff, it's better to not have it than to date it wrong. Because falsifying documentations, that's another thing that will hit you with. So, and this is some of the stuff people don't know about. So go ahead. Sorry.
So even if you just put the wrong date by mistake, they still could say you falsified it. Wow. So it's better not to even have it at all than to make a mistake and put the wrong date on.
Let's say you don't have anything, and they tell you, because most of the DOT let you know you're gonna get audited. That's the one thing they have to do. Okay. And if they come in and say, "Oh, you're gonna get audited on this date," and they start going, and you would say, "Okay, I don't have this stuff, so I'm gonna make it up." As long as you make sure the dates are right, you're fine. You're covered. But if you put one wrong date in there, and of course, if it contradicts something else, they can get you for that. So that's why it's very important documentation. And like Carl said, the back office stuff. Even just doing IFTA. If you don't understand how to do IFTA, here again, that can cost you. Because IFTA and 2290, the IFTA and the 2290 work hand in hand. Because I have forgotten to file my 2290. Oh, that's great. Until you have to do your IFTA. Oh, by the way, you didn't do your 2290. So now, because one time I had to pay the 2290 for the previous year and for the year that I'm going into. And I'm like, but this year is ending now. Yep. So we don't care. Here's the bill. You got to pay for both because they will not let you. Yes, your cab card or your registration. Commercial truck is called a cab card. A regular car is called registration. You cannot get that if you don't pay your 2290.
That's right.
And if you forget about it, cool. You go to pay your cab card. Yeah, you haven't paid it, so guess what? You're out of business or they won't give you your cab card until you pay your $22.90.
Wow.
So yeah,
I had to pay them every year. I had to suspend my number just because I wasn't the owner operator. I didn't have my authority. So why am I using a DOT number?
Right. Okay. Right. Well, look, let me take a pause. Right. Like I said in the beginning, you two have probably been the most influential over the last year, and y'all probably didn't know it. One, Carl, because who I run with now, you put my name out there for the guy to even give me a chance to run up under him. And two, I don't think I know anybody that knows more about trucking than Mr. Antoine Allen. When we talk, sometimes I say hello and I just listen because he's even like what you just said just now. As many times as we talk, I just learned something new because you just a wealth of information.
Right. I didn't know all that about the back office. I mean, I knew back office was a responsibility, but I didn't know it was to the point where you got to cross your I's and dot your T's, dot your I's, cross your T's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now I was gonna ask you real quick. Okay, so coming into trucking with all you just spoke about, and a person says, "Okay, I want to buy a truck." How much money do they need to really have to the side before they say whether they're gonna buy a new truck, used truck? What type of money do a person realistically need? Not just a tax return. What type of money they need to get and break it down? Go ahead.
Let me answer that. Let me answer the question to see if I'm right, because I know Mr. Allen gonna break it down for us.
Okay, go ahead.
You need the money to buy a truck. You buy a decent used truck, you're gonna need up to at least $30,000. You need a maintenance account of about 30. I said about $250,000 to be on the safe side. That's my estimation.
Okay.
From the things I've learned over the years.
So if you're gonna buy a truck outright, yeah, you're gonna need some money. Even if let's say you're gonna get a payment plan. Realistically, if you've got all your deals, if you're gonna, it all depends on what you're doing. Let's say you're gonna lease onto a company. You still want whatever it costs to get your engine rebuilt. And this is just a guideline that was given to me, and I've watched a lot of YouTube stuff, and all of my experience, I will agree with this. Whatever it costs to get your engine rebuilt, that's what you want to have set aside that you will not touch for maintenance. Because typically our engine rebuild depends on what you got. It could be about $30,000. At the minimum, you want enough money in your account. So if you blow your engine up now, or it has to be rebuilt now, and you have the money to do it. So at the minimum of $30,000. But I like your numbers because as me and Ed talked a lot of times on me and him talk about numbers, and there's like, yep, just spent $5,000 on this, $1,000 on this, $200 on that, and here again, that's what people get in trouble at. Jumping up and buying a truck and not knowing the maintenance of the truck or what has anything been done to the truck, you're gambling. I will always advise anybody, if you're gonna buy a truck, take somebody. If you really don't know the truck, if you don't know anything about maintenance, get somebody to go with you. Because a lot of people now are selling trucks that they say, quote unquote, the engine's been rebuilt and they haven't touched it. So now you get out here and you run, because I was listening to a guy on the YouTube channel. His truck he picked his first load, cost him $5,000. And that was his first load. So I would say at the minimum, $30,000 the minimum. That's after you got your truck on the road. That's once you buy everything, once you got your insurance and everything, at the minimum of 30. I like if you can do $250,000, you're golden. Especially if you got the money to buy your truck out straight right, because that's when you're gonna really make your money, when everything's paid off. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I like that number though. I really like that number because if you're gonna go buy it now without looking at anything.
Hey, Carl, and I missed the number Carl said. What was the number you said, Carl?
$250,000. $250,000.
Oh yeah,
$250,000. Have a security blanket, and you still might go under with that type of money.
That's the crazy part. You could lose all of that.
Yes.
But here's the thing. But if you don't, you can make that back in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make it back in what, 2 years maybe? Well, you can make it back that year depending on how you have it set up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
And yeah.
Just depending on how fast you learn the system and you know, make connection with different brokers and things of that nature. Like I like the way you run, Antoine. You like you said just now, you're about to rent out your trailers because you just running power only.
Yep.
You know, people don't realize once you get to a certain level, it's so many options out here in trucking that you can kind of create how you want to do it.
Yeah.
But you got to put that time in. You got to put at least a good 2 years in before you can start really moving around like you want to out here. But it's worth it. Okay, let me ask you if y'all can think of at least one or two. What's a situation out here that made you want to just quit? Just be like, I'm done. Carl, go ahead. Carl, you give it to me.
Last week was one of them times I said that when I called you and talked to you, told you what was going on about me missing appointments and getting held up at receivers and tires blowing out, and I won't making no money. I done went a whole week and ain't made no money like I want to. That was one of the weeks, but I look at my options, man, and it's no options that they say you can get out the truck now. It's not an option like that. I don't see the option yet unless I go into the logistics side of it. If I can find me a logistics way out, I'll do that. But until then, I'm staying in the truck.
Right. And I'm gonna throw mine in. Go ahead, Antoine. I'm sure you got at least one out of all these years. I know you got one.
I got a ton of them.
I'm
you
sure.
on the company driver side of the owner operator side?
Give me one of each. Give me one of each, and then you can come back with some call too.
Company side. Driving for a company that had an accident. And the one thing I do, and I don't care driving for myself or a company driver, I take pride in not having any accidents, not screwing up. Happened to have an accident. I was putting a dump trailer, sitting on the scale, watching it pouring down rain, and the numbers, the weight keep going up. Every 5 minutes, 100 pounds. 2 seconds, 100 pounds. And it's pouring down rain. So I pull off, had an accident in the truck because I didn't pay attention to how close I was to this side. So fast forward, we get to the yard. The next week, we got going this and that, and me and one of the guys got into it a little bit. So then they were like, "Well, we need you to do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going home. I've been here all day. Y'all set me through training all day. I'm going home. Y'all had me deliver another load, and now you want me to deliver mine, and it's 4:00, and I got to go to Winchester. No, I'm going home. I deliver in the morning." So me and him got into that the next day. I got a lot of running around, going here, going there. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And one of the girls that worked there, she was like, "Look, it's not that bad." Yes, it is. And that's when the push started me to get on truck. So I'm just like, "Oh, this. I am." So then a buddy of mine was like, "Look, this is what some tough times now. You'll be good." So I got through that. Fast forward, getting my own truck, it's like I said before, maintenance. When you start getting these maintenance bills, you finally get the truck on the road, the check engine light comes back on, blow a tire, you get to the tire place. Yeah, we don't have any tires that size, so you got to replace all 8 tires. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So this is what we can do. Yeah, I'm not doing that either. Then you're looking at a $4,000 bill for all tires, and I'm like, I can't do that. So then you get the tires fixed. You make a phone call. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, you're gonna be late, so we can't give you you're gonna miss your appointment. I'm like, so I gotta sit on this thing I gotta sit on this thing for 24 hours. Yeah, sorry. And you get down there and take them forever to unload it because I'm like, this is your stuff. You should be ready to get this stuff off. I'm like, I'm a day late. You should really want this. Nope. Sat there until noon, and you're trying to play catch up again. Oh yeah, is when you start spending money. And you don't see, you're at the end of the week, and what you've made has been spent by maintenance, and you literally just broke even. By the time you pay all your bills and get paid, you got $100. And I'm looking at this like, is it really worth it? And here again, I got another buddy man. He started laughing at me. He said, "You know what? It's just trucking." I'm like,
"It's just trucking." Yeah. It's just trucking.
I want to hear that right now.
That's the way I looked at it too, Antoine. Yeah. It's just trucking. It's gonna happen.
But it's moments like that determines that everybody not built for trucking, man. Because you have to have that mentality. You're gonna be mad for a minute.
Yep.
You're gonna cuss. You're gonna talk shit. Then you be like, this just trucking, man. It's part of trucking. You're gonna have really good weeks. Then you're gonna have weeks where you like, man, why the hell did I get my CDL?
Yeah.
But like you say, when you look over time, you realize it's still worth it. At the end of the week, it's still worth it. Because you still got a chance to get back out here and make that money. Go ahead, Carl.
That's why listen to your story. It is the reason why I still independent contractor. I wanted to be an owner operator. But I sit back and I observe what owner operators go through. Do I want them type of headaches or not?
Right.
Not saying I couldn't handle it. But I'm in a position now where I can make that choice to stay an independent contractor and still make owner operator money without the headache.
And real quick, Carl. Let's get the distinction because we have independent contractor and owner operator, and let's give the distinction. Carl, what's the difference in what you do, and then Antoine can tell what you do as an owner operator. So,
all right, I'm an owner operator. I'm 100% owner operator. I got my own authority, so I work for myself. I can actually go out and get contracts from companies, which I do contracts right now because I don't want to get dedicated to a company. I've got 3 direct customers I deal with. So I can cut out the middleman and there is no brokers involved. I can go directly to Walmart and get a contract through Walmart. And that's the difference of like me and what Carl's doing. So because I have my own authority with my own DOT number, own insurance, own cargo insurance. And that's pretty much for me is the only difference.
Okay. So you don't have to necessarily pull from the load board unless you want to. Like you have the option either pull from a load board or set up with a Kroger or a Walmart or a Lowe's or something like that. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Carl. See what we got, Carl.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think we good.
And that's I think being an independent contractor is what I do. What I do is I subcontract my company, which is FTBU LLC. That's from the bottom up trucking. I'm gonna drop the trucking off of it. And what I do is I'm subcontracted to play hardball, and I just don't have all the overhead, all the costs. I'm not an employee. I'm an employee for my own company, and we just incorporated to make one business and do everything so everybody be happy at the end of the day.
Right. It's like a partnership, you know. It's kind of like a part because we run up under the same situation, so we got the same structure. We run for he's the owner operator, and we kind of just contracted to get a percentage of the total, you know.
The total.
So we get paid similar to owner operators without having to own the truck, but we still don't make as much as an owner operator.
And let's not forget we still pay everything but maintenance. We still pay for the insurance. We still pay fuel. Everything that the truck makes, it comes out of what we make. So we determine what we want to make.
Right, and so that's how I started. When I brought my first truck, I leased onto a company that I used to drive for. So, and the only reason why I left them was because they weren't running the way I wanted to run. Because I had a way I wanted to run because I live in Stafford. So the company I was working for, most of the companies I deal with, when I was a company driver, was Northern Virginia. And I got tired of running in traffic in Northern Virginia. So that's why I was like, it's time. And a lot of influx happening inside the company. So I was like, it's time for me to get my own thing. And that's the only reason why I went on operator, to get my own authority. So.
Okay. So I think both of y'all froze up now. Okay. Antoine back.
You see me?
Okay. Yeah, I think you good.
You can hear me?
Okay, so Carl, I can hear you now. Okay, and I'm gonna ask both. Carl, do you plan to buy a truck? And then I'm gonna ask Antoine, do you plan to add on to what you already have? Go ahead, Carl.
At this moment, no. I like where I'm at. I like the position I'm in.
Okay, Antoine.
I've thought about it. Right now, it's up in the air.
Without all the maintenance costs and all the headaches and stuff.
Right.
Hold on.
Right.
Okay, go ahead, that's one.
Yeah, it's up in the air. I'm going to a couple different ventures right now. I'm starting now. I'm looking into getting into like what me and Carl talking about the back office side because a lot of people don't understand the back office. So I'm looking into doing that, and also I'm looking into doing some more of moving trucks for companies. I walked into a situation with that where I'm doing this for one company I used to drive for, where I actually go pick up trucks. So I don't know exactly where I'm headed to right now, in the future right now. I've thought about buying a couple of trucks, but like I said, to me personally, I mean, there's so many options right now. I'm just trying to figure out which option I want to go now. Because in trucking, there are so many different avenues you can go down in trucking. So I'm I'm not gonna say no about buying another truck or adding on. I'm just gonna see what happens.
Okay.
See how the opportunity goes. The biggest thing now is, as everybody knows, drivers, trying to find a driver. So and that's my thing right now is like I'm listening to. I got a buddy of mine that he's got 15 trucks, and his issue right now is trying to find drivers because he actually has supposed to be getting 6 more trucks, but he was like, I'm trying to find drivers for I got 2 just sitting down. I'm trying to get a driver for that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, let me see how this goes the next year. So,
and I understand because going back to what we said, it's not for everybody. It's not a lifestyle that the average person can just easily adjust to. Can it be done? Sure, but you have to have certain goals in mind. And like I said, once you get out there, you find out if you built for it or not. Hold up, what just happened? Hold on. 1 second. My light went out. We're having all kind of technical difficulties, but we're gonna make it work. Hold up. I'm coming on back. All right, there we go. I forgot what I was saying, but I'm back. All right, can y'all?
Yep.
Say what? Oh, yeah. I still forgot, but anyway, I'm gonna go to what I was gonna say. How could I put it? Like I was saying, once you get out there by yourself, you find out what you're made of. But a lot of people don't want to put that time in.
Right.
Because, okay, like with me, the way I came into trucking, I came in with a partner, with somebody I was dealing with. And we were going to team drive out at the beginning. Then it was time to do the training. They decided to come back home for their own reasons. So I ended up switching over to a company that was, I was at the parent company. I ended up driving for one of their subsidiary companies by myself. And that's when I really learned about me and learned about trucking. You go out with a trainer. I had to go out for like 6 weeks with a trainer. I actually almost got to fight with my first trainer because he was this ex-Marine, big, stocky white dude. Cool dude, but he had an aggressive way of teaching, right? And I don't mind that, but when it gets to the point where you feel like you can put your hands on me, like when I'm shifting gears and I ain't doing something right and you grab my hand and stuff. One night I told him, I say, look, dude, we can pull this truck over right now. Now, he probably would have beat the dog doo-doo out of me, but I was letting him know, like, it's 2 grown men in this truck. Just don't touch me. You can say what you got to say. I can deal with that. Don't put your hands on me. After that, he got kind of nervous, like, you're not going to report me. I was like, no. Long as we got to understand it. Like, this ain't about me snitching on you. Long as we got to understand that there's 2 men in this truck. And after that, we was cool. Then I had a second trainer because he had to go back home. And the second trainer, he ain't teach me nothing. And I thought at the time I appreciated him more because he ain't bothered me during the day. He stayed in the bunk. He stayed on the phone with his girlfriend literally 24 hours a day. He would go to sleep on the Bluetooth, wake up on the Bluetooth.
Wow.
I was like, I don't want to be up under nobody that much. But once my training was done and I got out on the road, I realized that the first trainer was actually more valuable to me. Them hard lessons and that stuff that he would pound in my head, I was like, now I see why he was so uptight about certain stuff. Because when you get out here, you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
You can't go gaze off daydreaming too long. No, you got to check them mirrors. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, let's talk about like that first year, that first couple of years. Just how was that for you, Carl? Because it's a new industry, something new for you. Just how was that first? How did you change, or what was that experience like? Just them first couple of years being out there on the road by yourself. How was that like?
Like I said, a lot of time to think and see what direction I really want to go in. Is this something I really want to do? You know, make a career of. And like I said, that's my learning curve. My first couple of years was my learning curve. Learning about the business side and how to actually drive the truck. You got to know how to drive the truck. That's the first thing. How to handle the truck. And I started out in a long nose peak. And I'm going to places like New Jersey, these little bitty streets, you know what I mean? And we got to back up in off the street and stuff like that, you know. So, you're going to learn the road. The road going to make you or break you. It'll let you know if that's really what you want to do. If trucking is really what you really want to do. And like I said, I've been doing it 4 years, and I still learn new stuff every day. Yep. It's something to be learned every day.
Yep. I want to learn something new every day. If I don't, it's like I feel like I missed something. Go ahead, Antoine. What you got?
Yeah, my first year, I would tell you the first month I was scared as hell. Once I got working for this company, I was driving a W900, long hood W9. That's what I was in because that's all he bought. Probably after about 2 months, he put me in the W900 86-inch sleeper, and that was quote unquote my truck. And I'm gonna tell you, pulling a 48-foot trailer with that long truck, yeah, make it break it. It was sometimes I'm like, how in the hell am I getting out of here? Then in some of the places I went to, because I was truly over the road. Like I said, I was running Alabama, between Alabama and Mississippi. That was my run because nobody else wanted it. And I'm gonna tell you, as a black man going into Alabama and Mississippi, there were times where I'm like,
oh, that tongue, you ain't got no video tongue.
No.
Okay, we can try to do the audio if you want to stay on, because we on the video, but we can stay on if you want to stay on.
Man, I'm computer illiterate. You know how to work this, man.
It's all good. We'll try to get you in the conversation, huh?
And Candy ain't here, man. My wife do all this stuff, man. I don't know how to work. Y'all got this, man. We just did this at Western Sizzling or something.
We know you love some food. That we do know.
Yeah, right, boy. That's truck drivers. What the hell y'all talking about?
It's funny you say that. I think the night that it burned down, y'all might have been in there eating, man. I ain't even lying. I think y'all might have been in there that same, because I went in there that same night. That junk burned to the ground, man. Straight
man,
up.
I used to stop by there, get cake and everything before I loaded my truck and go to work.
Oh man!
I ain't ashamed to tell nobody.
Hey, well, look, hold on a minute. I'm gonna let Antoine. Well, let me introduce you. We got Mr. Joel Claiborne, aka Tonk, on the phone. But I'm gonna let Antoine finish his part. Then I'm gonna come to you, Tonk. All right.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, finish up, Antoine. What you had?
Yeah, the biggest thing, like I said, the first year, 2 years, especially the first year, the first 6 months, you're learning. You're learning the truck, whatever truck you're driving, trying to figure out backing. Because I did flatbed, so pretty much most of my experience was flatbed. So I started flatbed, and still some of the things that we had to do, some of the places I went to with the flatbed, I'm like, man, I can't get this big long truck in and out of here. So that's pretty much the first 6 months of trucking, first 6 months to a year. Especially when you start going to, like I said, I was running Alabama and Mississippi. And I'm like, man, when these places get dark, I gotta go to the truck stop. I don't spend the night on the locations in Alabama, Mississippi. I'm going to the truck stop.
I'm trying to remember What run through there? Is that 78? What run through there? 22?
20.
65, 10, 20.
I would say, yeah, because typically we say because where we were running to is the Macy off of 20.
Okay, it's another. It's
85 too.
65, 20, 65 down.
No, I'm saying it's another state highway that run through there east to west, and I can't think of which one that is.
I got to think about that. It's been a while since I've been down there.
Yeah, I can't think of because I used to run through there. I think it come up like out of Memphis way, something like that. And I can't think of which one that is.
76. Is it 75 or 76?
77.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
78.
Okay. That's what it is. 78. That's what it is.
Okay.
78. I used to run across 78 all the time. Yep. All right. Matter of fact, Tongue, you come on in. Hey, look.
I got a quick call. I got to take right quick.
Okay. All right. Hey, Tongue, how long you been in trucking, man?
Oh, see, since 99, man. Since 99.
Good gracious. Okay, now back then, did you have to go to trucking school and all of that? How did you get your CDL back then?
Man, I left GP, went straight to Swift Academy, went down to Memphis, Tennessee for 3 weeks and got my license. Came home for a week, went out with a trainer. Trainer was from Virginia. He knew Mom and Dad and them, so he trainer was from Virginia Beach.
Wow.
He trained me for what was a month and a half, like a month. And after I got done with that, man, I went on my own.
Okay. And
you know how Swift was a major company then. Everybody was really coming to Swift then, you know.
I was going to say back then they won't like the joke of the industry, even though it comes down to how good of a driver you are. But you know, now in the industry, people always joking about Swift drivers. But back then, they was considered like a good company to go to, right?
Yeah, because it was MS Carrier then. So
Okay.
Swift bought them out. They were like, what's the dude's name? Mike Scott was driving. He was the MS stood for Mike Scott, and he was the main guy in the trucking industry then. You know.
Okay.
Until he had some personal issues, and his wife, you know, kind of threw that monkey wrench in the chain. You know how it goes. And once he did that, Swift bought out the company because he had to get rid of the company because she was coming for that too.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Since 99. Yep. Who do you still run company now? Who do you run for now?
No, I'm driving a log truck now.
Man, you driving log truck. Let's talk about that because a lot of people stay away from them log trucks. What made you want to drive a log truck?
Look, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell y'all.
Talk about it.
I got more respect for these log truck drivers than these guys over the road. I ain't lying. This log truck thing ain't oh, you got to be ready for this.
That's why I asked you. Like, everybody not gonna jump on no log truck, bro.
Man, let me tell you something. Strapping them logs down, going down the road, people still ride. You see that stuff hanging off the back there, man. People still be riding up on your bumper. And you know we got that little bar at the end. Every log truck got a bar on the back of it. Man, they act like they don't even see it, man. I got a lot of respect for these guys. I'm gonna tell you. Don't get me wrong now. I love it over the road. But when I went into logging, I'm gonna tell you something. It just changed my whole demeanor. It's both the same with people pulling out in front of you, riding beside you, you know, pulling out, man. You see the same thing. It's just a little bit more worse with logs than it is with, you know, with y'all carrying. You carrying a 53-footer or 48. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How long you been pulling logs, man? Because, whew.
Since December last year.
Okay, so you just started. You plan to stick with that, or you just doing it till you switch over to something?
Well, I'm gonna stick with it for right now till I branch out. Till I try to, you know, I'm thinking about going back and get my own truck. So I'm trying to save my money up and work on that right now.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to ask you. You ever went to? You been the owner operator route before?
Yeah, I did owner operator for 3 years.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get to. Swift got owner operator. Okay, I didn't know that. Hey, quick question. Okay, because I've done that before too. What made you get out of it? What made you decide to not go that route for right now?
I started, man, when I started adding up my money and looking at the balloon payment on a truck that you leasing from a company where you just, as Swift had it, we were still getting dispatched by dispatchers where they should have had it where we could pick our own loads. It's a difference between somebody dispatching you loads and you own your own truck than you picking your own loads. You're your own boss when you picking your own loads. But when somebody dispatching you still for the company, you still own operator, it just don't work out.
Right. You pretty much still a company driver for real.
Exactly. You're a high paid. You just a high paid company driver.
High paid company driver. High paid company driver.
That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna just go back to one of these questions. What's one of the craziest experiences that made you want to get out of trucking? Or have you ever had an experience out there that made you be like, look, I'm done with trucking?
Yeah. I when I first started, man, we was doing that 2x2. You know, when you had the other person with you.
Oh, you a team driver?
Yeah. And we was running this route. We was running a dedicated route from Richmond to Pennsylvania, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. And we ran that 6 days out the week. And one night, man, I get up, the dude was driving. One night I get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. We going on the road. We had did this run probably, man, over and over and over again. Why this dude had me down on the river, man, down in King of Prussia with a classic long nose 53-foot van. We down in the park.
Doing what? 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 What in the hell?
No, he got off the road. He got off the road. Somehow he took a wrong turn. We down on the park, man, riding right beside the road.
But this a route y'all take all the time, right? So why would he do something different?
All the time, dog. All the time.
Well, I swear. You said that made you want to be like, forget it.
Yeah. That was my first time. That was my first adventure. I was like, nah, this ain't for me. I hung in there and stuck with it, you know.
Oh,
it make you want to quit. Trucking will make you quit. It'll make you it's either gonna make you stronger or gonna make you weaker, whichever one. You just gotta be a strong head. Yeah, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the one reason why I didn't want to do team drivers.
Oh,
I never wanted to do team because I had to go the first company I drove for. I had to go pick up a driver because he had an accident, and me and him got in the truck together. And when I got back to the yard, I told the owner, the next time you send me to go pick up somebody, if it ain't one of three people, I am not you by sending them a plane ticket or bus ticket because they're not getting back in my truck. And he was like, "What happened?" And I was like, he was going to get put to do in South Carolina. I was like, "What?" I said, "I'll pull the." He was going to get out, and he had to walk home. He had time on the way home because he was not riding back with me.
Wow.
A truck is a very small space for two people for a long period of time. I don't want to be in a truck with nobody else.
Especially not another dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I came in, I was going to team, me and the girl I was dating, we came in together. So both of us got our CDL together. So we was going to do it together. But that was going to be the only person I did it with. So when she came back home, I'm like, look, I'm not teaming with another dude. And because the trainer I had to ask him to take a shower because if I ain't say nothing, we ain't take showers. I'm like, we gonna get a shower today? Oh, yeah. Other than that, he'll just get up and drive. Get right in the seat. He'll get out the bed right into the seat and drive. I'm like, dude, I got to go take a piss first or some dog. Like, good gracious. No. But that's when I realized, like, but some people really operate like that. They figure, look, ain't nobody gonna see me. I'm gonna get out the bed, get in this truck and drive, and I'll get a shower after a while. That's how some people, I guess, they look at it. You know. I got to tell my crazy story. This one crazy story. I was at a hotel that got raided by the feds, and I typed it on Facebook before, but I was still in training, and actually I had a little minor accident. I was at the truck stop, and it was in South Carolina, I can't remember which one. It was at the TA though. And we was getting ready to get back on the highway. I think it was at night. Anyway, coming around in the parking lot, it was a little dip off in the truck. The tire ran off and boom. I ended up hitting the oil pan. All the oil spilled out and boom, boom. They put us up in the hotel. So the next day, right, I'm walking to the little store up at the corner from the hotel. And I see some trucks zoom past, about 4-5 trucks, zoom, 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 pickup trucks. I ain't think nothing of it. I'm like, man, what the hell going on? So I went and got me a little drink. And I walked back to the hotel. And I went in the front door, went to my room because I forgot something. And I was gonna go sit out on the side bench of the hotel out the side door, and, have me a little drink. So I went to my room and I got whatever I had to get. And as I was opening the side door, a hand reached in and snatched me out the door. One hand snatched my black ass out the door, and all I saw was an assault rifle in my face. And if the dude hadn't come around the corner and been like, that's not him, I don't know what would have happened. All I know is I almost shitted on myself. Because I was like, yo. And like I say, the dude had to come around and he was like, that's not him. And I was trying to ask, and dude with the gun, he was just like, walk away. And I tried to say something else. He was like, walk away. My black ass walked away because he was not playing. Like, I was like, yo. Come to find out, it was a dude that had a couple bodies right up the hall from us. And they finally ended up getting him, figuring out where he was at a couple hours later. They got him up out of there. And it was a black dude, so I could have fit the description. You know what I'm saying? So that was a crazy time where I was like, yo, is this what I got to deal with out here? I ain't know what the hell was going on. So that was just one of many situations that made me have to consider if I wanted my life to be filled with stuff like this. Yeah. Okay. Long term. How many more years y'all think y'all gonna do this? I see men out here today in their 60s and stuff. How long y'all think y'all gonna be on the road? Go ahead, Carl. Talk about it.
I don't know, man. As long as I can. When people do ask me that, I say as long as I can do it. I'm gonna do it as long as I can do it. I'm looking for a way out, but to get on the right path, I got to make the right steps, figure out how to get on the right path and get my way out the truck.
Right.
But until then, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. Yeah.
No doubt.
Got a couple ideas what I want to do. It's just get it done now.
Okay. Tom, what you got?
I ain't going nowhere, man. I love what I do. I just love the truck altogether because, like I said, y'all know where we from. We ain't got nothing else really, unless you branching out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's like I try to tell everybody. When you get in the trucking business, you in the trucking business. It's in your blood for your first year. It's in your blood. That's what you want to do. You can step out, say you're gonna do this, say you're gonna do that. But I know, from my experience right now, dog, truck drivers, we are truck drivers. This is what we are born to do. Once it's, like I said again, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. It ain't you, it's the diesel fuel.
And the crazy part about it, sometimes you don't realize it's in your blood until you start doing it. And then, because sometimes after I take a few days off, even if after I've had a hard week, after a few days, I'm like, yo, I kind of want to get back in the truck, man. I kind of ready to get back on the road and catch some miles, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
Antoine, what you got? How long?
I got an
What'd you say, Tom?
call. Y'all, I said, I'll be right back. I got an incoming call.
Okay, cool. All right, Antoine, what you got?
I don't know. I think like Carl, as long as I can still do it. Because I still enjoy it. So, like I said, it's hard, and I tell a lot of people, once you start running for yourself, it's hard to leave here and go do something else, unless it's something in the industry or in the office side. Because
right,
go leave here. Would you've been doing your own thing, work however you want, and I got to come back and listen to somebody tell me what I can and can't do and what time I gotta get off. Yeah, it's hard to do that. Real hard to do that.
And I did that. I did that after my last try with the owner op, and I got out the truck for a few months, And when I came back, I came back as a company driver, and I realized I can't do company. Like because I'm used to already knowing, like either knowing what load I got next or knowing I have the power to decide when. I know whether I want to get on the board at 8 o'clock and start looking at 9 o'clock. I got the power to decide when I want to book my next load. But on company, you get to this, you could be empty, and I would hit them up like, yo, what you got?
Yep.
And they like, we working on something. I'm like, you working on something? You know what time I had to be empty? And like, what?
Yep.
This was a dropping hook. You know what time you know what's going on.
Yep.
So that's why I was, like I said, I appreciate Carl for putting my name out there, because if it wasn't for that, I might have got back out of trucking, because I'm like, I can't.
Right.
Once you've tasted that freedom, you can't go back company, man. It's hard to go back. And that's why you had told me that. You had told me that, but I had to experience it for myself to really know, like, you can't go back to making 42 cents a mile when you've been making percentage and stuff like that.
Nope.
Yep.
No way.
And I would tell you, so the company I do, okay, so the company that I move trucks for now, me and him talked about that, because they were trying to get me to come back as a company driver. And I'm like, I don't want a truck now. There's no way I'm coming back out here. And the guy told me, he said, you know what, the one thing I will tell you, when you are a company driver here, you had that owner operator spirit in you, that you were doing your own thing. I'm like, dude, I said, because I wasn't a typical company driver. Because even as a company driver, there were certain things I told them I will not do. And a couple people kind of looked at me sideways, like, how can you tell this man what you're going to do with his truck? Because I'm the one driving it. So.
Right.
So yeah,
I feel you. I feel you.
Because even when as a company driver, I've always told my dispatchers, if I call you and I tell you I got a problem, you need to drop everything you're doing, because it's the issue that I pretty much I handle all my issues I handle myself. I just give them a heads up. Look, this is what happened. I took care of it. And this is what I did. Just giving you a heads up. And most of the dispatchers love me because I gave them less problems. And even now I got brokers I deal with, and that one, she told me, she said, you know what, I talk to you all day long. She said, because the people I deal with right now, she said, oh my God. I'm like, but this is business. This is trucking. She said, nope, the people I deal with, no. I said, but I've always been that way.
Wow. That's beautiful. Hey, look, and I'm not gonna, and I don't want to hold y'all too long, man. So were you about to say something, Carl?
I think that was Joe who came back in.
Yeah, I
understand
where he come. I understand where he coming from, man. Cause like I said, man, y'all guys know I post y'all on Facebook and stuff like that, because like I said, man, what they got, so many people they got out here driving these trucks now, and I'm not down in the folk, man, but I've seen some of these guys going down the road with their feet all in the window, cell phones up to their head. I'm like, yo, what is going on here?
Yeah.
If I had my foot, you had your foot in the window back in the days coming up like that, dog. You people be calling in on you, and they got their left foot up in the window. I'm like, how you driving?
That's some automatic drivers. Yeah, that's some automatic drivers. I can't do it.
I'm like,
and you know what?
I'm telling you, man. Go ahead.
And you know what? I didn't appreciate driving a manual shift until I got into an automatic. Because when I was running owner op last time, I was automatic, and it took me a while to adjust. And then I started liking it, but I kind of stopped feeling like and everybody's not going to agree with this, but I kind of stopped feeling like a real truck driver. It was just something about it. I'm like, this ain't the same, no. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm back in the manual shift, I fell back in love with trucking, because I'm like, this the feeling I fell in love with right here, shifting them gears and floating them gears and stuff. I fell in love with that part of it too. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And not knocking the automatic. Look, more power to you. I enjoyed it while I had it, but I like shifting them gears. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, but I'm like you, man. It's like I told him, it's more attention. You got when you in. Don't get me wrong. When you in an automatic, is good. You in traffic is there, but your attention ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Your attention span is. You got both hands on the steering wheel. That's it. You're looking forward. When you in
you
that
can set that
manual,
cruise
though,
control. You can set
There
that
you
cruise
go.
control, so you really ain't got to do nothing.
That's right. But when you in that
Yeah.
manual, your mind got to still be working at all times. All
Yep.
time. I don't care if you in your last gear. Your mind still got to be working because you're going to have that person in the right lane that's going to be slow. You're going to have that person in the left lane where you might have to downshift one to drop one and get back in again, you know, but you're always working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when you're in the
Always
mountains, even when you're going in hills and stuff, I much rather have a manual shift than an automatic because I can decide whether I want to drop down to 8 or, you know, all the way back to 4 if I got to. I can decide that instead of just letting the automatic engine do what it think it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, and like I said, I ain't gonna keep y'all up here too long, but I do want to ask, okay, if you have an idea, say the next 5 years, what do you see from trucking, or what do you want to accomplish even outside of trucking, but with trucking, if you know what I'm saying?
I see what trucking I can accomplish. The little I've accomplished in the 40 years, let me know I can live comfortable and provide for my family and maybe start some generational wealth. Make the right moves, you know. I can see that.
Your audio is still chopping over.
I can see that in the next 5 years I'll be living comfortable.
Okay. What you got, Antoine?
Couple things I want to do. I'm trying to get into some consulting, business consulting, especially as trucking, but business in general, because I know a lot of people don't understand the business side of the paperwork side or the business side of any business. And I'm learning that as I talk to different people. So that's one thing I'm looking at right now. As many of you have been talking about, working on a manual of how to become an owner operator if you want to get your own authority. From a company driver to owning your own truck, I'm looking at working on something that says how to do it, how I did it, how it worked for me. Also, I want to do with that. I want to tie into, instead of me just giving you a manual, you buying them, however you can do it, however I plan on doing it. I can give you my time as well, because there's no need for me to give you a manual, and because you can get manuals everywhere. The one thing you don't get is the one-on-one, because how all 4 of us run trucks completely different. So if I can give I can give you the how-to of how I did it, but I can also curtail in how you want to do it. And that's one thing a lot of people aren't doing, because what works for me may not work for you.
That's right.
And that's one thing I'm seeing a lot of people talking about. Oh, this is what I did, but like for me, I got dispatcher companies that call me, and they talk about, oh, you can make this amount of money, and I'm like, but you don't know what my business model is, because I don't have the average trucking business model. And that's what a lot of people, because me and this guy went around with that one dispatcher company. Oh, you can make this. I'm like, but so I let the guy talk, and I was like, but you don't understand my business model. He was like, wait a minute. I said, you don't understand how I'm running my truck. I said, because if I tell you how I'm running my truck, it's not gonna make sense to you. I said, but I can show you what I'm making on pay. I can actually show you dollars and cents of what I'm making and how I'm running my truck, because like I've been trucking for a while. You can tell me I can make that. Yep, I know I can. I said, I'm not doing like that. I know what that entails. Other than the way the market is now, but when the market's an average market, I'm not trying to run that way. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be going all week. And like I said, that's the 2 things I'm looking at: consulting, and I'm also venturing into picking up and delivering trucks. That's some new thing I just got into, and I didn't realize how much of a need it is right now. Because a lot of people are buying trucks and having to wait until they can get delivered. And I'm like, it's an opportunity.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, so you'll go, so they buy the truck, but you'll be the one to go, they'll pay you to go get it for them.
Go pick it. Yep. Okay. And also retrieving trucks, because like I said, the company I'm dealing with now is they had a driver, a truck broke down. They paid me to go out to deliver a truck to him. They flew me back. Well, this week, Monday, they paid me to fly out there to pick the truck up and bring it back to their yard, because the truck was right out of the shop. And I didn't realize that was a thing until me and the guy got talking about it.
Okay. It says some pretty good income doing that, retrieving trucks.
Yes.
I know a guy that was doing.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Man.
So
that's what I say. So many options. So many options. Okay, Tonk, 5 years. Where you see yourself at with this trucking thing?
I want to get back into training, man, because I think we need the trainers. And right now, I was looking at the news this morning where Americans are short, close to 80,000 truck drivers.
Wow.
And by the year 2024, they'll have to hire 147,000 drivers to keep up with the economy. So,
good.
I'm thinking about getting back. I'm thinking about going back to training because I trained for 4 years at Swift. So,
you know what though? Even beyond just training, we need somebody to train the trainers. Because you'll be just affecting one at a time, but we need somebody to teach some of these new cats. Because see, you come a little bit from the old school, being that, like you said, you started 99, so you had some older cats teaching you the game. We need someone with still some of that mentality that teaching some of these new trainers that come in. Like, look, this is what you need to be teaching these people. You know what I'm saying? Not the lackadaisical shit. We need you to teach them the right way. Go ahead, Antoine.
Well, you gotta understand something too. As I'm listening to guys talk, as that are trainers, it blew my mind because I talked to a guy from TMC. Driving for a year, and he's a trainer. I'm like, you still don't know the industry. I've talked to a guy. You don't even know
that truck. You don't even know the truck.
Like, how are you a trainer at 6 months?
Yo, in a year, you don't even know how to drive that truck all the way yet.
A lot of the major carriers, that's what they're doing now because they're trying to get trainers. And I'm like, this blows my mind.
And that's a problem, though. That's a major problem, to be honest with you. It's a major problem.
Yep.
And I sat there, I heard guys on the radios, CR England one company, TMC is another company, Night Transportation is another company. Snyder was doing it at one time, but 6 months to a year, and you training already? Come on, man.
I think with Snyder, you can become an owner op at like 6 months. And like you say, you don't know that road, you don't know that truck in 6 months.
Exactly.
It's no way. It's no way you can. It's no way you can know it that quick. That's dangerous, man.
Yeah. And you're setting them up for failure. To be honest, you're setting them up for failure, man. It's the industry. You got to learn and it takes you at least, to me, 3 to 4 years, 5 at the most, to learn the industry. Because the industry changes so much where, now they got these self-driving trucks. I ain't too fond of it. I don't like it.
Nah.
Where a truck, they did a run the other day from California to Pennsylvania.
What?
The only time the truck stopped was the guy to fuel the truck up. That's it. That's the only time the truck stopped.
The one thing is, it's a lot of kinks in that because I've been following a lot of that. There's a lot of things they talk about with that system, which is amazing to me. They talk about, it can go from here to there, but it doesn't talk about the starting and the end point because they got to have somebody in those trucks to dock them and load them.
Yeah.
And drop if you're going to do a drop and hook. And that's the part that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about that part. And I'm like, so what's the plan on that? And nobody's talking about it because they're setting the concept up. You can run it from East Coast to West Coast, and that's it.
It's some spots that I don't care how much computer intelligence they get. It takes a human to back into some of them places. There's no way a machine is going to, because it's just no way. Y'all know. You've been in some of these spots where it's like, you look at it and it's like, how am I going to get this truck in here? Yeah, like really, how am I going to get this truck in here? So you telling me a machine just going to do that? Like, nah. It's no way.
Nope.
Like you said, you're still going to have some type of human interaction regardless. You're going to have some humans involved regardless.
And like we said, if you get into a spot where you can't, the human can think about it. Okay, so I need to slide my tandems all the way to the back to make my trailer turn faster.
Right.
Turn slower to get in the dock. Whereas I can get up and pull my tandems to the front to make it turn faster to get in the dock. A computer is not going to be able to do that. So I'm just not too fond of it right now.
Right. I'm with you. And ultimately, even though it might play a part, they still not going to be able to replace all of us as far as that go.
No.
You know, and thankfully we're in a position where we don't have to be replaced because we're not quote unquote per se company drivers, so we don't have to be. Even with logging, they're gonna have to have some people out there doing it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have some physical bodies out there driving them type of trucks. And in the positions we in, independent contractors, owner operators, we don't have to be replaced because we're not working up under, you know, company rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of that part.
And like I was saying about the logging thing, you got to realize, y'all from the country, we got paths that we grew up on that grandma and granddaddy had where you could walk back to the fish pond and fish. You know, it's just enough for you to get a car back. Those are the kind of paths that I'm on.
Yeah.
With a log truck coming out the woods, going in the woods.
You can have that, man. You can have it. I don't. Why, Tonk? You don't have to do that, man. Why?
Look. I'm in Purdy right now. I'm on a track right now where you can just barely get a log truck in there, back it up, turn it around, come back because you got to back up on the deck. You seen it on TV? No, you can't do that with a computer truck.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
So how you?
No
you
way.
Know, you can.
Ain't no way.
You know, it takes some extreme. I'm gonna tell you something. That's why I said I have a lot of respect now for log truck drivers, where they go, how they do, what they do. You know, these guys. My dad have been doing it for years, but I never thought it was like this. And Carl, I'm gonna tell you, Ed, and I'm gonna tell you, man, it's a different world. It's a different world.
I believe it.
Sometimes I could pull up to the truck stop and look at them trucks and see them big logs on there. Good God, how in the world they go through the curves and back roads and stuff with all that? You know, you're riding about 90,000 pounds or more back there.
How about
Right.
How about the other day? I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick. I was in IP in Franklin, and the guy got on the radio, and he said, my man said, "Hey man, how much did you weigh?" Honest to God, true, I raised my right hand. The dude bought a load in there, 105,000.
God almighty.
God almighty. Oh my gracious.
And the guy got
man,
on
my nerves would be toe up driving
guy,
that type of weight, man.
The guys got on the radio, man, and said, "How in the world did you come down 58 with 105,000?"
Good gracious.
I had to ask. He said, "Man, it didn't even feel like I was putting 105,000." I said, "I thought I got to the scale. I think I'd have jumped over the truck and walked around for a little while."
Straight up.
Knowing I came down the road with 105,000, down 58. I think I'd have got off the scale. I told him, I said, "Man, I'd have pulled to the side and had to get on my truck and walk around."
Man. Good gracious, man. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that 100,000 pounds.
No.
I mean, godly.
Man,
I don't want to play that game, Tom.
I done been heavy as 90, but man.
Nah. Most I've been is 80. That's the most I've been.
You might have been there close to it, but I'm saying on the outside, I can see if you enclosed, but you got logs on the outside.
On the outside, yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Ain't no
man, that's crazy.
What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8 poles holding eight poles holding everything together.
Man. Well, I salute you for that, man, because that's part of the game I don't want to play, man. I do flatbed. I do flatbed before I do logs, bro. I ain't lying. Shoot. You got them log trucks, bro. Ain't no way.
I got a lot of respect for them. I enjoy what I do though, but as I've been through my years, I've been a safe driver for this many years, 21 years. So
that's what I was about to say, Joe. That's what keep you safe out there, too. Respecting it. That's what keep you safe out there.
You gotta respect.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you lose respect for that truck, that's the day you need to get out of the truck.
I believe that 100%.
I tell anybody new, old, or whatever you is. When that day you lose respect for truck driving and truck drivers and that 80,000-pound truck, that's the day you need to get out of trucking. Because it's not going to go well for you the rest of it.
That's probably some of the best advice right there. Because it's you can get into it. It ain't really hard to get into trucking. But like you say, if you get to that point where you feel like you the man, I got this, and put them keys down. Because you about to hurt somebody. You about to hurt yourself, about to hurt somebody else. You always got to respect them machines, man. Always. From the time you turn that key on to the time you do your post trip.
That's right. I don't care if
and like you said, even if you're in your car, right. Go ahead.
That's right. If you in your car anywhere else, you better respect. You already know. If you truck driver, you already know what the deal is. But I can tell my daughters and my sons every day, when you get on that highway, and my parents will tell you, everybody tell you, I'm real strict about folks on the highway that I know. I tell you, I text, be careful out there, because we want to come home. Everybody wants to come home. But it don't take but that one time for you not to come home.
Right.
That's how I express it, It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous job. It's probably the 5th dangerous job in the world. It was number 2. It probably still is.
My scariest experience, I had 2 of them that I can really recall. Well, one of my scariest experiences early in trucking was having a steer tire blow out. And the tire came off the rim, and I could see the tire rolling down beside me on the road. That was one of my scariest experiences. That's one of the scariest experiences I've had with trucking. And so when I drive, I think about that all the time. I'm out here on that 5 and I'm over there.
Yeah. That's just like having a blowout on your steer tire. Good God Almighty.
Yeah, I ain't never had a blowout on my steer. I had one on my trailer, but never on the steer.
Yeah, your steer tire, it'll snap your arm into place.
I believe it. I probably do it on myself.
Yeah, it will.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't even want to talk about that too much because I don't even want to imagine that happening, man.
It's not a fun feeling because I've had it happen.
I don't.
Yeah,
just the sound alone would make me shit on myself.
Yeah,
just hearing that big boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard where it broke people's wrists.
Cause them shits
pull the shoulders out, everything.
Oh my gracious. Oh my. Man, stop. I got to pick up a load tomorrow. Stop talking like that, man.
Look, I can't hang. Look, you got to do this again, man. I got to pick my wife up. Mm-hmm. You got to do this again.
Yeah, and I know, and I ain't gonna, like I said, I'm agreed to let y'all go because I got to go do something. My daughter done text me about something she need me to do or want me to do. But look, I appreciate y'all coming on. We ain't gonna be able to get to all of it, but we gonna definitely do this again soon. And I'm gonna try to work on us getting our audio a little bit better. It might be my end. I don't know if it's y'all end, but we gonna do this again real soon. And because we only scratched the surface on some stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
But I appreciate all of y'all coming in.
All right, man.
So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up. Listen, y'all, we gave y'all some good game. We told y'all how to get into trucking. We gave y'all some of our experiences. Now, I'm gonna put a couple of things in the description, as far as like maybe some trucking schools or things of that nature, just some information about how to get into the game because it's worth getting into. Look, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'm gonna get with y'all next time. And I appreciate y'all again, fellas. All right, y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I'll check y'all out later. Peace.
All right.
All right.
All right, y'all take it easy.